Hey folks, Pastor Darren here. Several years ago I lived in Australia. And when I moved to Australia, it was really interesting because I was a bit of an athlete growing up. And so I decided to learn some of the sports that were in Australia. Now, one of those sports is a sport named cricket. Now, if you don't know what cricket is, it's a really unique game. A lot of people think it's like baseball, but I found out it's nothing like baseball at all. And even the first time I went out to play cricket, I played it like baseball and ultimately failed because it just didn't have the same rules as baseball. There were things in it, such as the way you hold the bat, whether the ball was able to be blocked with your leg before it hit the wickets so you wouldn't be out, and there was only one out. You only had one shot at hitting the ball, and you could hit it as many times, and games could last for like 4 days, and all these rules with cricket. I had to learn all these things because it would have been ridiculous if I would have been a person who'd be like, oh no, I know how to play baseball. I'm going to come in there and do my own thing and it'll be fine, because cricket had its own rules and things that you had to do in order to make the game fun for all the Australians to know how to play it well. In Christianity, there are a lot of what people think are rules. In fact, if you look at the Bible, you notice that there's an entire book of the Bible that's set up just with rules in it for how God's people were to act. And as we turn to the New Testament, I think a lot of times we may wonder, what is the deal with all the rules? Are we supposed to keep these rules these days? I mean, are the things that God required of the Israelite people back in the Israelite days when they were wandering in the wilderness, or right after they escaped from Egypt to the Promised Land? Are these rules things that we are supposed to keep today? What are the point of all the rules in the Bible? That's the question we're going to look at this Sunday at Imprint Church. And it's a great question, especially for those of you who've been Christians for a long time, because I think there's a tension in some ways between what all the rules are for and what things we're supposed to keep as Christians. So if you've ever wondered, if you've ever had the question pass through your mind, what rules am I supposed to keep in order to be a Christian? You should come to Imprint Church this week. We're going to look at that question and answer it. And the answer may be different than you were expecting. So I hope to see you at Imprint Church 10 o'clock here in Woodinville, Washington, as we discover what God has to say about the law through Galatians chapter 3. Love to see you there.